could have called God herself, and the Republicans weren't going to be willing to convict.
Ah, yes. Eric Swalwell, we could have called God herself. We could have gone, but God is a woman. Then they had another Democrat last week. God was genderless. God was non-binary. Yeah, that was Telefrico. Telefrico is running for office in Texas. They're all mentally ill. That's Eric Swalwell. There was at least one woman, maybe two women on television this morning talking about the background that they have with the Eric Swalwell figure. And we've got the prime timer headline today. Who is Ali Samarco? Ali Samarco. Democratic strategist Adam Perkomenko backs influencer wife amid Eric Swalwell allegations. And this, I read into this a little bit, and I want to get to this audio in a couple of minutes after I get to the lunatics in New York of Ali Samarco, who has a thing or two to say about Eric Swalwell. And it turns out, she says, I went looking into this because she was on the TV this morning on CBS and CBS This Morning. And I went looking for her, and I found her in her pictures, and she's a very attractive woman, a very nice-looking woman. And I said, well, she can't be a Democrat. She looks too freshly scrubbed. She looks like she's bathed recently. She doesn't appear to be mentally ill like every Democrat in the country. But I looked at this thing, and Ali Samarco is a Washington, D.C. based social media creator, political commentator, and writer who focuses on U.S. politics and current events. She is, a Democratic strategist and recovering Republican. So I found that to be interesting. Wait, you say you're a former Republican. That explains why you're clean and attractive. The old habits die hard. She hasn't become filthy and skankerous in the meantime. But I want to get to that because she was on the television this morning, and also I've got a friend I haven't seen in a while, Samarco. I don't want to use his whole name, but I know a Samarco here in Washington, D.C. or the Washington, D.C. area that I haven't seen in a while. Wonder if there is any relation. But this, we'll get to this. Ali Samarco talking about Eric Swalwell. Before we do that, I want to get to, you know how the Democrats, they love terrorism. Every terrorist group in American history, domestic terrorist group, have been affiliated with the Democratic Party. They created the White Knights of the Ku Klux Klan, the Democrat Party did. They terrorized black people with Jim Crow laws everywhere, right? And they created the Weathermen, which later had to become the Weather Underground because Weathermen was sexist and not gender neutral, and they were already mentally ill. And the SDS, Students for a Democratic Society, and the Weather Underground, and all these people, and the Symbionese Liberation Army, all these radical left-wing terror groups in the history of the United States are all Democrat Party affiliated. Every filthy murder affiliated with these political organizations all go to the Democrat Party. They're criminals. Now let's go to this guy, Hassan Piker. Hassan Piker is an anti-Semite and a jihadi, I think, and he hangs out with Democrats like Ro Khanna and you remember the Reverend Al Sharpton the other day, called him Roy Connor twice. Guy's name is Ro Khanna, first name R-O, last name K-H-A-N-N-A, Ro Khanna, and the Reverend Al Sharpton called him Roy Connor over and over again because he's $1 million journalist at NBC.
Congressman Roy Connor of California.
Ooh, that's stupid. We know that's not his name, but we can clap anyway because it would be racist not to. All right, now let's go to Hassan Piker. And he was on this left-wing thing with Obama administration people, Pod Save America. They're here to destroy America is what they're here to do. And talking to John Favreau, who was an Obama administration songwriter. I know, not a songwriter. He's a speech writer for Barack Obama. And he's John Favreau. He's got the name of a Hollywood guy. He's not the same guy. He's not the Hollywood guy. He's just a Democrat wanker. And here's Hassan Piker who would wipe Israel off the face of the earth, talking to Democrat Jon Favreau. And it turns out that Jon Favreau is saying, hey, look, I know you said that you love Hamas, the radical Islamic jihadi terror group that kidnapped, raped, and murdered all those people in Israel and held the hostages and even the dead bodies underground. And surely you don't mean that you love Hamas. I just want to help you clarify that, because you're being quoted as saying that you love the radical Islamic terror group that is genocidal and they're racists. And, as liberal Democrats, you don't want to go saying that. Hassan Piker and Jon Favreau.
So my question is, when you say Hamas is 1,000 times better, do you actually mean that? Or is that a rhetorical move or like a solidarity signal? Like what?
I mean, it's all of the above. I do mean it. I think it's a rhetorical move because it frustrates a lot of people. I've also said I'm a harm reduction voter. I'm a lesser evil voter, and therefore I would vote for Hamas over Israel every single time.
Yeah, and I would vote for Hamas over Israel every single time. And that's the Democrat Party, because the Democrat Party is a violent, bloodthirsty criminal organization, and they love, people being shot and killed for political reasons, people being shot and wounded like Donald Trump and Congressman Steve Scalise, and of course we had Charlie Kirk assassinated and all that good stuff. And this Hassan Piker guy is a perfectly mainstream Democrat jihadi, and he's not one of the good guys, that's for sure. And he's a left-winger. Left-wing, they call him an influencer because he wants to murder millions of people. So the Democrats say, oh, let's give him lots of running room here. Let's do that. No, I really mean I would vote for Hamas rather than Israel because he's anti-civilizational. He is pro-terror and murder. And that's why he would vote for Hamas rather than Israel. Pretty amazing. He's 34 years old. And he's he's a Democrat. Rutgers University. They train him there. Isn't that amazing?
Doesn't matter if rapes happen on October 7th. Like, that doesn't change the dynamic for me even this much.
That's he doesn't care. That's Hassan Piker. Yeah, rapes. I don't care. Think I care? He'd be chopping all their heads off with machetes. Oh, speaking of which, see the guy with the machete in Grand Central Station in New York City over the weekend? I don't know if he's an illegal immigrant, but a black guy in New York City in Grand Central Station with a machete, running around threatening people with the machete. And he's yelling, I am, not Satan, he's saying, I am Lucifer. I am Lucifer, he's yelling. And he used the machete to hack 3 elderly people in the head and caused severe injuries on 3 senior citizens in Grand Central Station. And then a police officer who the Democrats want to defund and turn into the villains shot and killed the lunatic who's yelling, I am Lucifer, I am Lucifer. And he's hacking the machete into the heads of unsuspecting citizens in Grand Central Station. And I saw that, and I said, well, clearly a Democrat, obviously a Democrat. But I think maybe they trained him in their after-school Satan clubs. You know how the Democrats love to have after-school Satan clubs in schools across America, and they do, and they organize them, and then with the Temple of Satan, and the Temple of Satan and the Democrat Party, they worship together at the same table. And they kill 1 million babies a year and harvest the organs. And they shoot and kill 10,000 black people a year in the United States. And then call everybody else racist. And they attack Jews everywhere you go. We got another one of those, too, because the Democrats, you see this AI guy being attacked. They had to arrest people attacking the AI guy. I want to get to that one, too. But let's go back to the Democrats, because the Democrats, Hassan Piker and Jon Favreau of the Obama administration, oh, no, you're just being rhetorical. No, I would kill all the beeping Jews, and I would drive their dead bodies into the sea and make them shark food, and I would vote for Hamas over Israel. And what was the last one now? Doesn't care about rape. Yeah, the rape on October 7th. Yeah, I really don't care. I just don't care.
America deserved 9/11, dude. I'm saying it.
This is the guy. America deserved 9/11, and they all deserve to be raped, and he doesn't have any problem with the kidnapping and rape. And he's a mainstream Democrat influencer because the Democrats are as bloodthirsty as Al-Qaeda. And that is sad, but true. In fact, we haven't heard a lot from Al-Qaeda lately, but we have had, since the last time we heard from Al-Qaeda, I think at least 9 Democrats have self-immolated in the United States, plus Tony Gonzalez staffer that he had sex with. But that's another thing. Let's go to New York, where the Democrats gathered yesterday. And who was it? Was it Eduardo? Was saying, yeah, they're going to get together in Chicago and Hyde Park and protest in favor of terrorism and against civilization and against America and against white people. We're going to take away your electricity. You should know this. And here yesterday in New York, and how many, 80 people or more than 80 people were arrested yesterday. And they're wearing a lot of matching T-shirts. Have you seen these people? A lot of matching T-shirts that say, I'm with him. It's like I'm with stupid T-shirts. We should come up with one of those, like I'm with Hamas, pointing at the guy next to you. They're just amazing, these people. But in New York, over 80 people arrested during Middle East wars protests. How many wars? It says Middle East wars protest. Isn't that amazing? Senator Schumer and Senator Gillibrand's Midtown offices. So, and among the star participants, we have Chelsea Manning. Remember, Chelsea Manning is the genital self-mutilating Democrat, transgender freakazoid. And he had a name. He was a boy. He was a man. And then he said, no, now I'm Chelsea, and I want to have babies. And I want you to call me Chelsea. I'm a lady, right? Chelsea. And of course, the song, right? Because he kept getting in trouble with the law. And it was, woke up and there was Chelsea Manning. He was kneeling in my cell. What? Woke up and there was Chelsea Manning. He was kneeling in my cell. Yeah, it's a little jailhouse stuff there, got that kind of thing. But here are the Democrats in New York yesterday. More than 80 people arrested, if you can call them people. And they're pro-jihad. And there are people like Hassan Piker and John Favreau and all this. They're all severely mentally ill. And they're doing it outside of Schumer and Gillibrand's office. And lots of matching T-shirts that have, what is it? Oh, fund people, not bombs. They're all professionally made in the T-shirt shop for mentally ill Democrats. What's the acronym for that? T-shirt shop for mentally ill Democrats. Here it is. This is what it sounded like outside of Schumer and Gillibrand's office.
Fight like hell! Stop the bombs! End the killing! Fight like hell for the living!
Fight like hell, stop the killing. Is that what it was? And then she went back to work at Planned Parenthood because they're all mentally ill. Police arrested dozens of protesters in Midtown Manhattan on Monday afternoon who stopped traffic while railing against the wars in the Middle East. I guess true, the troglodytes are at war against Israel from Lebanon. The troglodytes are at war against, and the Democrats support the rape and the murder because, and then they vote for Eric Swalwell because they're very unwell. New York City yesterday. Hands off Palestine. Palestine, that's Israel, that they're referring to, that wiped the Jews off the face of the earth like they're Nazi forebears of the Socialist Workers' Party of Adolf Hitler. Aren't they amazing? And they've got, and what, hands off Palestine, hands off Iran. See, they're on the side of Iran. In Lebanon, they're on the side of Hezbollah, the party of Allah. And in Israel, which they call Palestine, they're on the side of Hamas. They're on the side of genocide. And they're all out there dressed in their matching T-shirts and screaming at Scream at the Sky Day every day for these mentally ill people. And no war, no ICE, free Palestine. I'm sorry, ICE? Well, you're talking about the Middle East, and then we've got no ICE, no war, stop bombing Iran, Lebanon, Palestine. They have these big banners, and they're all posing for pictures out on the street and shutting down streets. Should bring in, the airplanes that they use to put out fires, forest fires out west. Not in California. They just let them burn in California, but isn't that amazing? There's more from the mental cases in New York yesterday coming up, and there will be more in Chicago. The Democrat Party should be banned in the United States and sent to, hang out with MS-13 in El Salvador with their boy Kilmore Abrego Garcia. Right now, the voices in our culture are very loud, you may have noticed, but truth is often silence, and that's not a good thing. Today, preborn needs you to help speak that truth. All right? Now, the culture is too loud and the truth is too silent. Women facing unplanned pregnancies in America may be pressured to act quickly before they have time to pause and breathe and, hear the truth about life and hear the heartbeat, the dignity, the hope. But you may know that I refuse to be silent, and I'd like to ask you to join me for a little bit, at least, at Preborn Network Clinics. Preborn Network Clinics, a woman is welcomed with open arms and compassion and given a free ultrasound. That's where she sees the human life growing inside of her, often for the very first time. And in that sacred moment, fear can give way to clarity. And she's offered something the abortion industry would never provide: hope and positivity and Jesus Christ and God. This April, our goal is to have 11,000 gospel conversations with pregnant women in preborn network clinics. You can help make that possible by sponsoring ultrasounds. Just $28 American dollars provides one ultrasound. $140 sponsors 5 ultrasounds for the mothers in crisis. Every dollar helps to save unborn babies and share the hope of the gospel with the mothers. To donate, all you have to do is dial pound 250 and say the keyword baby. That's pound 250, the keyword is baby, or visit preborn.com/plant. That's preborn.com/PLANTE. Yes, sir. Yeah, I was thinking about this yesterday, too. With Eric Swalwell and all this stuff. Where's the Pound Me Too thing? What happened to Pound Me Too? The Democrats shoot and kill Pound Me Too from a rooftop also. They invented it. Then they discovered it was all them and the fake things that they made up. So they've stopped using Pound Me Too because it's all about Democrats. Yeah, hands off Palestine, man. Hands off Hezbollah. Hands off Hamas. And they're chanting hands off Iran because if there are enemies of civilization, then the left is with the enemies of civilization. And today the Democrat Party is the left. They're not liberals. They are with the mullahs. It should be considered ironic. In Iran, the Ayatollahs and the mullahs and the Democrat Party are on the same page. And the Democrat Party on the same page with Hamas in Israel with, October 7th, the kidnappings and the rapes and the murders. And you got mainstream Democrats saying, oh, yeah, the rapes don't bother me and I don't care about any of it. And I would vote for Hamas over Israel any day of the week. And you got Obama administration officials sitting there saying, yeah, okay, you're with the terrorists that, crashed buildings into airplanes on September 11th all those years ago. And we will never forget. We will soon forget. The Democrat slogan is, we will soon forget, as though we never knew it in the first place. Extraordinary people, these people. New York City, again, more than 80 arrested, and I think not enough, and they should probably go to Gitmo. No bail, just see you in 20 years. Pretty amazing stuff. But they're on the side of evil and not of good. They're not on the side of civilization, and they wear matching T-shirts that say "Fund Bombs." Fund people, not bombs. Fund people, not bombs. And Jews say "Fund people, not bombs." I think transgender people say "Fund people, not bombs" would be another T-shirt that they could wear, because They're very, very ill. The group remained in place for about an hour until arrests were made, blocking the roads in New York City. Some demonstrators became emotional. They became emotionally unglued and appeared to weep as they were literally carried away to a large bus. It turns out it was a large wood chipper. It was a wood chipper. They were all tossed into the wood chipper. Now they make an excellent mulch, and that's good for your garden. And they have these professionally made banners and signs and no ice. I love this. They've got, no war. Oh, okay, that mean no war. They're just supporting Iran and the Islamists. No ice. I'm sorry, what does that have to do with anything? No cheddar cheese. What are you talking about? And free Palestine. Wait, no ice and free Palestine? And if you free Palestine, there will be war. So you really want war against Jews because you're racists and you're like Nazis, really. No ice, no fascism. Right, sure, that's what they're saying there. No genocide. They use the words, but they don't know what they mean. I got to tell you, I started with that because they were being idiots one day years ago. I say, I'm listening to them, and clearly they don't know what these words mean. They're using the words, but they don't know what they mean. And their signs and their T-shirts and their banners, and they're large and they're small, and they sprawl them out on the street, and they block entire streets in New York City, and they should bring in steamrollers and just go right over them. The big giant steamrollers, the big huge ones. All right, so crazy people in New York City being arrested, a lot of them being arrested, scores and scores, more than 80 arrested because they love Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Ayatollahs, and they call themselves liberals.
Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine!
Put him in first. Put him in first. They want to free Palestine. That's good stuff because they want Palestine to be free. And they're outside of Chuck Schumer's office. And listen, the Democrat Party is here to support Iran when it comes to radical Islamic jihadi terrorists running the Islamic Republic of Iran. Or Trump, they are unhesitatingly going with the jihad. That's the Democrat Party. They're always fighting like hell. They're all very severely disturbed, mentally ill people. There's they like the jihad and murder and genocide, and they complain about genocide and fascists. They are genocidal fascists with no sense of irony whatsoever. Now, I got a fun item today that was sent to me, a tweet by James Lindsay, Lindsay, anti-communist, all right, and calls himself Conceptual James Lindsay, anti-communist. And he posted a little, it's an animated video of a big, bubbly, like Bluto-style Israeli Defense Forces guy and a creepy little guy with a thing tied around his neck like he's a jihadi, like he's Hamas. And it says, I don't know who made this to give them credit, but it ended up in my inbox, and it's glorious. Avoiding Israeli brutality is very important these days, and it's also extremely easy. See, the name of the thing is How to Avoid Israeli Brutality, and it's got the cartoons drawing, and the big guy's hitting his hand with a billy club, and James Lindsay, anti-communist, said, I don't know who made this to give him credit, but it ended up in my inbox, and it's glorious. Avoiding Israeli brutality is very important these days, and it's also extremely easy for civilized people. And I was watching this morning, and in the animation, they've got one, we'll just call them Democrats because they're like jihadis, right? And in one of the videos, they've got Renee Good, but it's a radical Islamic jihadi, in a car, races at and crashes into an IDF person and gets shot. And then in the second one, there's an animated person with his, Hamas headdress around his neck. And he's got a giant knife, and he's attacking the IDF guy, right? And the Democrats, remember Joe Biden said if somebody's attacking you with a knife, he's unarmed. Remember that? That you're unarmed if you're attacking the police with a knife, because Joe Biden has a brain that doesn't work at all. So the video, this fun video, is great. And then the guy attacking with a knife, and the police officer shoots him. So there's one jihadi racing the car like Renee Good in Minnesota at the police, and the police officer shoots the jihadi and kills him because they're trying to crash the car into him. Then a guy attacking with a knife, just like their guy Alex Preddy, who brought his gun, his 9mm pistol, and an extra magazine of ammo to go violently attack federal law enforcement. And then he got shot, and he got killed because Democrats are incredibly stupid. But here's and we'll post this audio on our social media things. But here is the audio of the video that's posted. It's an animated video showing how not to get shot by the IDF.
How to avoid Israeli brutality. A quick guide. When driving a car, do not purposely drive into a crowd of people standing on the sidewalk.
Renee Good.
You might get shot.
Might get shot.
When an Israeli policeman asks for ID, do not attack him with a knife.
Right.
You might get shot.
That is the animation.
This applies to attacking men, women, and children.
And children, too.
You will probably be shot.
Probably be shot.
If you happen to be holding a Molotov cocktail or rock, do not throw it at passing cars. Someone may not like that, and you might get shot.
Molotov cocktails.
These guidelines might be frustrating, but they will protect you from Israeli brutality. Good luck.
And it's a cute, sweet little mocking the ridiculousness of, and they're talking about Israel and the terrorists, but it applies perfectly to the Democrat Party. It definitely does. And the Democrat Party is mental. You can race your car. They turn Renee Good into a hero because she crashed her car at as high rate of speed as she could into a federal law enforcement officer. And then the other guy, their next hero, he brought a gun and an extra magazine to go, knowing he was going to attack and get into fights with federal law enforcement officers. And then he got shot because he's a psychotic, dangerous criminal and a would-be murderer. And speaking of Molotov cocktails, because that was one of the things that made me laugh this morning, Molotov cocktail attack on Sam Altman's home sparks fears of copycat strikes against tech executives. Daniel Moreno Gama allegedly carried a manifesto. Now, they all have manifestos, don't they? And they're all transgender, most of them, listing other AI executives and their addresses. So they've got this Democrat who attacked the home of Sam Altman, who is, he's Jewish and he's gay. And so these are hate crimes all over the place. And I got to tell you, the American news media is not covering this at all. A pre-dawn Molotov cocktail attack on Sam Altman's San Francisco home. Did he attack with a hammer at the front door, like Maxwell? Has signaled a volatile new era of anti-tech extremism, 100% the Democrat Party, sparking fears among federal authorities that this could ignite a wave of copycat strikes against high-profile executives. Well, they also turned their guy Luigi Mangione into a hero for murdering a CEO of a health insurance, a health industry insurance company, gunned him down, killed him on the street, a happy husband who's not Eric Swalwell, who's got kids at home, 2 kids, and they murdered him on the street, and the Democrats celebrate him. They make T-shirts with the murderer on it because they love murder. San Francisco District Attorney Brooke Jenkins announced Monday that her office will aggressively pursue charges against the suspect, Daniel Moreno Gama. Is he an illegal alien, do you think? Citing a dangerous escalation in the debate surrounding artificial intelligence. Democrats are all suffering from artificial intelligence. My office will prosecute this case to the fullest extent of the law, Jenkins said. This should also be a moment where our nation reflects on the often incendiary rhetoric that is being used in discussions about artificial intelligence and its future impacts on society. I've talked about it a little bit here. To me, AI is the latest version of when computers emerged, and computers were going to take everybody's jobs. There was a Katharine Hepburn movie about this with Spencer Tracy called Desk Set, I think. And you're nodding. You know this movie? And is that right? One of your wife's favorites? It's a sweet movie. And Spencer Tracy comes to this company where Katharine Hepburn works, and they're not dating yet. And he brings computers, and they're computerized punch cards like IBM punch cards and stuff. And all the women in the place are terrified that their jobs are going to be eliminated by these computers. And then Spencer Tracy reassures them, and everything turns out okay, and it just makes everybody's life easier. But that there was a period where people terrified computers were going to destroy everyone's world, everyone's life, everyone's career, everyone's job. And then that was computers. Then the computers became more and more and more. Then the Internet came along, and the Internet was also going to kill everyone's career and wipe out entire industries and all this. And, of course, they didn't. Made everything better for everybody. And now AI is coming along. And I would argue that AI is pretty much the same thing. It's the latest iteration of first computers, then the Internet, now AI. And I'm not afraid of these things at all. I've got to say. But this guy, he's attacking the AI chieftain, Sam Altman, who is, I believe, a multi-billionaire also. And he and then his house was shot up too, right? It didn't get shot up because first the Molotovs. I initially heard that there were two Molotovs, and then they're attacking the house of this Sam Altman guy, and firebombing with Molotovs, which Democrats like to do a lot of. They remember they used two Molotov cocktails to attack the governor's mansion in Pennsylvania because the Jewish governor was too pro-Israel. So the Democrats attacked the home with two Molotov cocktails, burned it to a crisp, the Pennsylvania governor's mansion. The DNC should be forced to pay for everything. Aren't they amazing? So this is wild. And San Francisco, we're going to prosecute. You've got to watch your rhetoric. Yeah, is that right? Is that what's going on here? Because, I am telling you, you people. All right. Now, it looks like we gotta take one here, right? We got to take one. Let's take a breakie. Yeah, and the Democrats, they shot President Trump. They shot Congressman Steve Scalise. They shot and killed Charlie Kirk. They firebombed the Jewish governor's mansion in Pennsylvania. All this is perfectly normal. And then the news media, you'd think that they don't have a bad reputation of any kind. They're liberals. This is not liberal. There's nothing liberal about these people. You know? Adolf Hitler's people called themselves the Socialist Workers' Party. Know it. We got to play a little Ali Samarco. I don't know if she's related to my Samarco friend or not, but maybe I'll find out. And here she is, Ali Samarco on CBS this morning. She has had some run-ins, if you will, with Eric Swalwell.
They began to text, but she says he soon asked if she too was on Snapchat, where messages and photos automatically get deleted after they're viewed.
How did the tenor of his conversation change?
It started out as professional and platonic, and then slowly they became more and more explicit, asking me what I was wearing. Then one night he was on a trip, and he was laying in his hotel room bed, and then he sent me a photo of his penis.
Woohoo! That's, hey, Congressman, up to the podium here. Ali Samarco.
He never should have ran for governor to begin with.
Never should have
Knowing the kind of history and receipts that are out there.
Receipts.
And then in terms of Congress, I think he absolutely should have resigned. I think we just prevented another 30 to 40 years potentially of him harming people if he were to stay in Congress.
Yeah.
So in that sense, I think we have served justice for his future victims.
Wow.
That won't exist anymore.
Allie Samarco says she's a recovering Republican, a former Republican. Her husband is a Democrat Politico. So now they just want to kill people. Oh, yeah, by the way, and I did mention that this Sam Altman house with the Molotov cocktails also was attacked by a man and a woman who fired rounds at the house in a completely separate incident. And they arrested Amanda Tom and Mohammed Tariq Hussein. Mohammed Tariq Hussein shooting at Sam Altman's house because they're all mental. And this story we discovered this morning, and it's pretty wackadoodle-doo. The Democrats, they envy socialized medicine everywhere in the world. In Pakistan, they have state-controlled medicine. And here's the headline out of Pakistan today. 331 children contracted HIV from syringe reuse in Pakistan hospital. I'm sorry, what? They reused the syringes in the Pakistan hospital, and they gave AIDS to 331 children because they're reusing the syringe. You know that they've got their equivalent of Democrats over there, too, don't they? Man, oh, man. All right, I've got very little time, but let's jump to the phones. Let's go to James calling from Kensington, Maryland. James, my apologies. I don't have a ton of time, but fire away.
Candy Grant for James Carville. Candy Grant for James Carville. Chris, yes, I don't have any experience with prostitutes, but I'm pretty sure due to that video, high on the list is not making out with one of them. That's all I have to say.
That's probably good policy. Are you suggesting because you never know where that mouth has been?
Well, I guess I'd be more inclined if maybe you were her first appointment of the night, but if you're the third or the fourth, that's kind of sketchy.
Kind of sketchy. And, even of the night, forget about the night. You know, about the week, the month, the year. This is what Democrats want women to grow up to be, by the way. The euphemism is sex workers. They have unionized them in San Francisco.